Kingdom Hearts Rechain of Memories is a remake of Chain of Memories, originally released on the Game Boy Advanced on March 29th, 2007 in Japan, and December 2nd, 2008 in North America. Apparently, this is the least enjoyed game in the Kingdom Hearts series, but I wanted to try it because there is a lot of important story in this game that is relevant to Kingdom Hearts 2. Because it was made for the Game Boy Advance, the combat had to be simplified or changed completely, so this game is completely built around cards. The levels you go to are decided by what card you play at a door. Buffs and debuffs are decided by cards. Combat is based on the cards you collect and assemble into a deck. So you don't just swing your sword, you have to play the different cards that you have in your deck, and then if you run out of cards, you have to reshuffle, which takes a little bit of time. I kind of like this idea on paper. Unfortunately, about an hour and a half into the game crashed, and save points are decided by a card that I didn't have. After losing that much progress, I lost interest. YouTube filled me in on the important story beats, and I moved on. Kingdom Hearts 2 was originally released December 22nd, 2005 in Japan, and March 28th, 2006 in North America on the PlayStation 2. It was developed and published by Square Enix. For the story, a very underrated joke that I love very much is about Bloodborne, where the story and cutscenes condense down to blood, nightmare, hunter, blood, dream, hunter, blood, moon. Allow me to do the same. Moon. Allow me to do the same for Kingdom Hearts 2. Heartless, Darkness, Heartless, Riku, Darkness, Heart, Kairi, Heartless, Friendship, Ansem, Darkness, Organization 13, Heartless, Donald, and Goofy, Darkness. You don't need to know anything beyond that. The 6-hour prologue, gameplay included, was very cutscene heavy. The whole game is, to be honest. And it tries to tell a story. But even my research before pressing play left me feeling confused and simply wanting to just hit stuff with my really cool Keyblade. Eventually, Sora meets back up with his friends Donald and Goofy, and they tour the galaxy of Disney Worlds, reuniting with the friends they met there in the last game, Kingdom Hearts 1, and help them with another crisis. I thought that the carryover from the past game was fairly well done and didn't feel like sequelitis. Organization 13 is very funny to me. It's a bunch of edgy anime dude bros dressing in the edgiest black trench coats with hoods and muttering about the darkness and Heartless and just generally being a pain in the ass. Once in a while, one of them would be a boss fight, but usually they would just show up through a wormhole they can seemingly control at will, say something cryptic, and sometimes steal what Sora was about to take to progress the plot. But they look cool and edgy and cool. I also liked the twist at the end. We don't just fight the same villain from the first game, sort of. There was enough spin on it to not be the same thing again. There was a good explanation about why he's different this time, and it was good. For visuals, this game looks really good. Because I'm playing the latest Final Mix release, it has had plenty of HD polish splashed all over it. Lots of particles and flashes of light at every sword clash. A weird thing I noticed was that in the first game, Sora, Donald, and Goofy would get a unique outfit for every themed world they visited. In this game, they usually had a costume change, but there were a couple of worlds where it didn't even happen, and I thought it was just kind of weird. Apparently in this version, there was a Christmas-themed costume added to the Nightmare Before Christmas world, in addition to the spooky Halloween costume that they already had. This wasn't in the original Kingdom Hearts 2. Maybe I'm already remembering the first game wrong, but it would have been cool if there was a themed costume for Hercules' world and for Disney Castle, and I don't even remember at this point, a couple others. sound design, you get the returning music from the appropriate movie, and all of that is good. We had a couple of new worlds with music carrying over. And something that I forgot to mention from Kingdom Hearts 1, but is also in Kingdom Hearts 2, is there's a theme song, I guess, from the opening and closing of these games that is like incredible. It's awesome. I will play both of them for you, Spencer, when I get home, because you'll dig them, I think. Gameplay. There are a lot more abilities in Kingdom Hearts 2. So like I talked about in Kingdom Hearts 1, I didn't know that I had a dodge roll, but I had to go into a menu and apply action points to be able to use actions or abilities. So like a dodge roll costs 2 action points out of my stack of like 20. But you have to choose out of a whole list and spend your points appropriately, and you can swap them out as necessary for like boss fights or whatever. There's a ton more of those abilities in this game, and there were also a lot more ability points that I could spend on those abilities. Something different between this game and the last game, the magic bar times out at when you deplete it. So if you're casting spells, you have to pick up the orbs from dead enemies, or if you deplete the magic bar, you have to sit there and wait for it, like, I don't know, 30 seconds or a minute before it fills back up. So it keeps you from spamming magic unless you find a way to break the game, like speedrunners do. A small note, something that I thought was cool, whenever an ability was in yellow font instead of white, it means it would automatically deplete all of your magic points. And I thought that was a really cool, like, little detail to notice, like, as you're playing the game and trying to make decisions on how to fight. Like, that really helps you to understand what's going on very quickly. This game adds drive forms, so you can, it's basically an ultimate, and it depends on what characters are in your party. Like if you only have Goofy, you would get one drive form, or if you only have Donald, you would get one, or if you have them both in your party, you would get a different one, and you could choose between which drive form you wanted to use. And this led to more menuing. Some of the drive forms let you pull out a second Keyblade to swing around, and it's basically an ultimate, but it affects your movement and your spell casting abilities. One of them would let you do like air combos pretty much as you could. It was an interesting addition. The Y button or triangle is basically an interact button. So there were some boss fights that at the end of the fight, when the boss is like at 1 HP, it would go into a quick time cutscene, and you would have to press the Y button as an action. You could also apply action points for an ability with your friends, with Donald and Goofy, so that if you're close to them and you press Y when you know, triggered to, I guess, you could do a weird team-up ability with them. I turned that off most of the time because I would just be in a fight and accidentally, instead of me doing a really cool move, I would do the ability move and it would drain all of my magic points because it was all designed for the Y button. So it was really hard to like specify which special move I wanted to do, and suddenly I don't have magic points to spend. I think I forgot to mention in Kingdom Hearts 1, but Kingdom Hearts 2 brings back the summonses that I haven't used once. You get characters that you can summons for a little bit, like Tinkerbell, I think, or Lilo from Lilo and Stitch, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I never used any of them. Genie from Aladdin, for sure. Cool, I guess. The gummy spaceship missions are so much better in this game. Flying and aiming works a lot better, and now it's basically just shoot as much as possible unless you want to use rockets, in which case you hold the shoot button for like a half a second and then it just auto aims rockets at what's on screen. But the first game, you had to like fly and put the aimer on the ship that you're shooting at, and this game does it a lot better. It's much easier to aim at things and dodge bullets that are being shot at you. Most worlds forced the main character of that world into my party, forcing Donald or Goofy out of my party, and I didn't really like that. I liked in Kingdom Hearts 1 where if I was in Tarzan's world, I could have Tarzan in my party, but I didn't want to play with Tarzan. I wanted to play with Donald and Goofy because they're in my party the whole time through the whole story, and I like working with the builds that I've built for them. Whereas Tarzan has a set, character sheet basically, but I'm not familiar with how he plays. Like, I don't want to play with him, but it was forced in most worlds. Oh, whatever. Ariel's world is notoriously dumped on in this game. It's notoriously dumb. It was very much a smaller world this time around, and it was basically reduced to a mini game of like trying to drive a Dance Dance Revolution game with a controller. Like, just hit the button on beat and you get points. It was not good. And it's especially stinky because the movement underwater was greatly improved for Kingdom Hearts 2. As soon as I got in the world and they taught me how to swim again, I was like, oh, this is so much better. I can't wait to fight with these new, better controls. And you don't. You literally just sing along. Pirates of the Caribbean's world looked really weird. The art style for the characters looked unnatural. I don't know. It's not as cartoony as everything else in the game. It's like a really poor attempt at quote-unquote lifelike. Think GoldenEye on the N64, but with better polygons. It was weird. It looked uncanny. In the menu, Jiminy Cricket's journal is greatly improved. There's a story recap, making multiple play sessions or just general confusion about what to do next much better. There's just like little notes of like, here's what our last conversation said, but also just like, now we need to go to this world. It's like, oh yeah, that's what they said. Much better. There are puzzle pieces that you can find through all the worlds, and if you go into Jiminy's journal, you can assemble those puzzle pieces. They are shuffled, and you have to like spin them around and put them into the grid correctly. There's a treasure chest tracker in Jiminy's journal that shows you each world and which treasure chests you found and like which ones you're missing, and that was super helpful. Treasures aren't as hidden as the first game mostly. It was literally like, if you follow the story, you're probably going to find most of the treasure chests. It was kind of lame. And the rewards got very predictable too. It was like, oh, this is a big treasure chest and I just entered a new part of the level. It's going to be the map. It was very predictable at the end of the game. There are hidden boss fights via runes that you can find and revisit once you've pretty much beaten the game, and that's like it's a 1v1 against members of Organization 13, and they're all different flavors to the fights. So like, someone say you can't use magic in this fight, but your your drive forms are more powerful or something like that. They would be challenge fights, basically. I didn't do any of those. Parrying is weird and not as good in this game. In the first game, if you were attacking, if you attacked at the same time as your opponent, you would clash in midair and it would just nullify the attack. So you would kind of like have to run around and try to get your attacks in without getting neutralized. In this game, you're supposed to press the X button, but the timing was fucky, really fucky. I couldn't get it at all, no matter how hard I tried. And it was a waste of action points for my ability, so it just wasn't worth it. The end game limits collecting to tons of grinding. There's a secret form, a secret drive form that has to be leveled up to level 7 to glide through the air far enough to collect puzzle pieces. And another form has to be leveled up enough to jump even higher, not jump or jump higher. It was so much grinding that I would have had to do to try to collect everything. And like, I had been working through the whole game to collect everything because I was really enjoying the puzzles. I thought it was a fun challenge to take these randomized pieces and spin them around to make a picture that I like figure out what the picture is supposed to be. But I did not like that it took so much grinding to try to collect everything. I would have rathered like a platforming puzzle to try to find like a hidden secret, not grind levels. Cringe. Crafting unlocks early and is kind of useful, but the ingredients are clearly controlled by the story, limiting the crafting to mostly endgame grinding yet again. I regret playing on normal, despite getting stuck on 2 or 3 bosses. I know I would have gotten good and been able to beat it on hard mode and gotten the achievement for it, because this was made for kids, so the normal difficulty was pretty easy most of the time. In closing, I completed this game in 30 to 35 hours, and it's well known as like the best game in the series. And yeah, I can see it, but the story kind of brings it down a little bit. It definitely dumps you right in the middle of what's been happening in the last 2 games. Like, this is clearly a sequel, and you need to have a good idea of what's going on, or you're just gonna be playing the fun Disney game.
What version of this did you play, and on what?
This is part of the Kingdom Hearts Final Mix 1.5 collection, HD collection. And I'm playing it on I played it on my alternate lifestyle Steam Deck.
How long until you play Kingdom Hearts 3? Because that shit was hyped out the wazoo, because it took them so damn long to make. Or are you going to hit something else between them? Is there another side game half sequel?
Hold, please.
Because fuck if I know. In charge of planning, Yoda was. I guess the Japanese just don't understand numbers or whatever.
Of course it doesn't tell me. I gotta go to the fucking. Alright, so this collection has Kingdom Hearts 1, Rechain of Memories, which I skipped, 2, 358 out of 2 days, which is a game that had been released, I think, on the DS.
Didn't they shorten it all down to a cinematic?
Yes, exactly. And I was chipping through that, but when you hit play, it starts at the beginning. And I had started it and then didn't get to finish it. So now I have to click on every single fucking cutscene and every single journal entry one by one by one by one by one by one. And then there is Birth by Sleep Final Mix, which is an actual game. And then Recoded, which is another HD cutscene compilation. And that's the 1.5 collection. The 2.5 collection, I think, is only one game and then a couple of movies. Let's see.
To think you wanted to move to Japan for work.
I still do. Kingdom Hearts 2 collection is Dream Drop Distance, which is a game, and then there's a movie and then a short episode that leads right into Kingdom Hearts 3. So I have 2 games in between 2 and 3 and a couple of movies.
I love that 2.5 Final Mix HD doesn't include 2.
Correct.
The fuck?
Yes.
What do we do with our lives, man?
It's going to be quite a while before 3. I'm working on a couple of other games right now in between. I don't know how much of these weird offshoot games I'm gonna do. I mean, I have them, so I might as well play them, but like, I don't know. We'll see.